What? Did I hit the phone?
Listen.
You got me ready, man. 2 seconds.
Hey, here, you do this. You figure out something to put in. Put 2017, the final
Countdown.
There's no countdown. Just but there's no the final countdown. Why did I do this? And it ain't no trumpet. It's
I never known that. I've
That's
never
the
known
80s,
that.
baby. That's the 80s instrument. It is the 80s instrument. Do you know they did an awful movie called The Final Countdown about, like, I think it was Jason Robards, and he was on a battleship or something, an aircraft carrier, and it went back in time somehow. It was awful. Look it up. Look it up. The Final Countdown. Look it up. It's awful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I am The Revolution, and we are the Fifth Column Network, and you are watching our Sunday edition. Today, we decided everyone was back from the break. We don't really tell you guys about that stuff. We'll get better with that and letting you know when we're going on breaks and stuff like that. We'll let you know. We'll get better. We have a lot planned for 2018.
Yes,
correct?
Yes, we do.
Yes,
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot.
There's
A lot.
You guys are so fake. Oh yeah. Oh, a lot. Oh my God. There's so much in store for you. You should have said like, oh yeah, absolutely. Yes.
You saying it like it isn't though. What are we supposed to say to that? It's supposed to be a surprise. We're gonna give him a gift that keeps giving.
So we decided to get together one last time and speak to you all, and you all speak to us. You know the routine around here. We have the discussion with you. If you have something to say, please say something in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, do all of that. But the most important thing that we ask for is to comment.
Comment.
Yes.
Y'all know y'all getting ready for your night out. You know what I mean? Turn the phone on, set it up against the mirror.
Set it up.
Watch us, makeup, hair, whatever you doing.
They getting ready this early? I'm not getting ready.
Folks
this
are
late.
getting ready. Ain't they not
Somebody
ready
getting
yet?
ready.
It's 6:30.
Okay, when you in the bed napping.
Yeah,
You taking a nap.
Somebody getting their soul.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you installing hair right now.
Yeah,
This is the time
like,
to install that hair.
Yeah.
I guess nowadays guys are spray painting.
Oh my God. Had that one little black drip coming down.
Oh no.
So I want to say this real quick. I never told this story. I had a national television show that I got booked for, and so I don't like looking at black people's hair, black men's hair on television, because it's always like it's never crisp. Only like in music videos. Like when you go back and look at 90s videos, Mace's hair was, I was like, how is his hair so perfect? My brother and I went everywhere. We were in Harlem, like, who's Mace's barber? Like, one to this day. I'm not going to say that to you. I was about to out my brother. I'm like, there's a flaw, Monty. There's a flaw. So I was like, man, I don't like the way our hair looks. It hits certain lights, and so it doesn't look as perfect, right? So when I found out about the blacking out technique, right, I was like, oh, I want that, right? Because I was like, I don't want to look unpolished on television, right? So I got it done, and it was crispy. I was all edged up. I was like, yeah. So I'm on the plane, and it was a long flight. I was on the plane. I think it was to LA. So it was a long flight, and I was like, man, what is that? Like some kid on here has opened up a set of markers, and they're like coloring, and it's like all over the plane, and I am so pissy. I am so pissy. I'm indignant. If anyone knows, when my pockets is right, when my money ain't funny, I am real indignant. Okay, when I'm doing well, you can tell I'm doing well. My head is held up high. I'm thinking, how dare you speak to me in such a manner? What is your name? Who's your manager? I'm that guy. I turn into a white woman so fast.
Oh my God.
A well-to-do, angry white woman. I turn into her so fast. So I'm on there and I'm indignant. I paid handsomely for my seat. Who amongst you has open markers or fingernail polish? That's what it is. And it was just, and then and then the students came, and then my brain was like, hey, dummy. Say, dummy. I said, say, dummy. It's you, dumbass. With your marker ass head. Shut your dumb ass up and enjoy the ride. Damn dummy.
So that was your one foray into.
That was it?
Say no more. I smelled like nail polish, and I was like, "Who? How?" I was so literally, and my brain was like, "Hey, psst, psst, shut your stupid ass up."
Why was it so late in letting you know?
Hey, at least it was before he asked the stewardess.
She should be like,
You know what's happening here.
Oh, shoot.
Sir.
marker head. I went from eraser head to marker head.
Oh, shoot.
That's real. That's as real as it gets. So, with that being said, we decided to get together and talk about all the happenings of 2017 in our respective departments, news, current events, combat sports, and
pop culture.
Oh yeah, pop culture.
Television and film. Yes.
Television.
Pop culture.
Yeah.
Pop culture. Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate the support. Yeah. So first things first, we're gonna talk to the woman around here that keeps the lights on, that keeps everything pretty much paid up with.
Don't I keep the heat on?
Yeah, with her brilliance. We all know her. We all respect her. Some of you may like her. A couple of you may love her. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to open up with Miss Trezenet, and she's going to tell us the very first, happening of 2017 that we wanted to kind of review.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
Top story for news, current events in 2017 is certainly Weinstein. The Weinstein effect and the whole dismantling of sexual harassment and sexual misconduct, particularly in the workplace. That was a huge story for 2017.
Okay.
Yes.
I went through most of our news broadcasts here at FCN.
Yeah.
That was certainly the biggest news story because it was a story that kept giving. It was Weinstein. You know, we had quite a few bumps with him where more women kept coming out, more women, and then here come women of color, and now here comes Weinstein saying, "No, wait. No, I have to actually rebut against them." You know, I mean, we had that. Then we started seeing other men being taken down for being accused of sex. We had lots, including Mr. Matt Lauer.
What was that domino effect?
It was
came tumbling down.
Yes, it did.
And then we seen men start coming out about being harassed as well.
Yes, molested, harassed, all of it.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was a huge story.
Okay, you guys are setting it up for me here. You said tumbling down, like panties. Then you're over here talking about how huge it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to be respectful here.
No,
I'm just.
Don't we have a picture of Mr.
Oh,
of the
Lord
man of the
have
hour?
I saw his fingers. I was like,
I don't like why am I directly across from this man's eye?
No. I saw Jacob was over here like he was doing something. I was like, do you want me to chime in? Like I'm picking up when he's laying down, right? I'm picking up the signal. He's like this, and he's giving me hand signals. So I thought,
dare I say, fingering you? Was I fingering you?
Okay.
That
is harassment,
sir. But why am I just keep rubbing this salve over my hands? It was on really thick. My hands were super ashy. Okay, but he was over here doing this, so I thought he was like, "Hey, say something." I was like, I got this, like...
That's funny.
I know when to chime in, sir.
Right, sir.
I don't need a side producer.
Didn't we just discuss how naturalistic I am when behind the camera? In front
And then
of
he's
the
like,
camera?
say, dummy.
Oh.
Don't we got an image? Images by Tyrone Green. Push the damn button, dummy.
Hilarious.
Damn dummy. He was over here.
Do it.
I didn't even
Do
realize
it.
I was doing that.
He was, and I was like, I got this, fam. Relax. I'll chime in when it's right, fam.
Right.
Relax. And then he's like, nah, don't we got an image? Ah! Yes!
Oh!
An image. Okay. So, okay. But
We got someone, Chelsea Marie says, love and support from Ohio.
Hey,
Chelsea!
Miss Marie.
Chelsea Marie, hello.
Hey.
How are you from Ohio? Let me tell you something. I'm not saying this because Chelsea said it, but Ohio is one of my favorite states. One of my favorite states. Absolutely. Yes. Not just politically, but Ohio. There's so much American history out of Ohio. You guys have, I mean, like every state, but Ohio has so much history. It's an amazing state. It's an amazing state. Look it up. Look it up.
I will.
Thank you, Chelsea.
I'll look up.
Thank you.
I want to quickly mention Monica Stevenson is watching. It's my homegirl. I'm glad that you tuned in, Monica.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
hi,
Look at
Monica.
you being supportive of. Hey, dummy. Push the damn button, dummy.
Oh my god.
So what's the aftermath? What do you see as the overall aftermath of what J. Cole, what we have said, and other people have dubbed the Weinstein effect? What's the aftermath?
I see two things. I see one is really using that, trying to get Trump out of office. So I think we started to see that towards the end of 2017 with reassembling the accusers of Trump who came out at the top of at the election time, coming back, trying to use these allegations to get him out of office. Don't think it was successful. I don't think it'll ever be successful until and unless Trump actually does something that more aligns with what is connotatively rape. You know what I'm saying? Like he would have to jump out the bushes and really sexually assault someone for them to boot him out. I don't think.
Which is not out of the question with this guy.
It is. Have you seen him on a golf course? He can barely move around without caddies helping him. No, have you not seen it?
No, I've not.
Oh my God, he is a portly, just 70-something-year-old dude, man. He's bad. He's just a bag of bad.
Looks like he smells.
He does. He does. Can I be honest here? I've never said this before, but he looks like he has questionable hygiene.
Yes, he does.
Like you would go, Mr. Trump, have you showered? I don't need to shower. I'm amazing. My diet is absolutely spot on. Anything that comes through my pores, you should bottle it. You should sell it. Not over the counter. Some exclusive boutique that deals in exotic oils and musk from around the world.
Must.
I am so grossed out right now. Just thinking about that.
We'll talk about him later.
Yes, but that's one, and the other one is we're definitely going to start seeing a shift in the workplace with regard to men and women working together. Listen, I think we're seeing it with Mr. Tavis Smiley, where they didn't even tell him what's going on. People made accusations or made claims. You are out of here. Like you ain't gonna get no due process. You ain't gonna get no sit down and come talk to us. You are out of here.
That is
because I don't think employers want the liability. I don't think they want I think they're just like we don't want to be dragged on social media. We don't want to be in the press, in headlines. We are for PR reasons, and that is, I really believe it is PR reasons.
It's PR.
That they are, done it. What's his face? Charlie Rose. Listen, you're out of here. You're suspended. Like, no, we don't want to be dragged in the press.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, right? You're saying PR. You mentioned dragging on social media, right? So we live in an immediate culture now. We have technology. So that is the only difference between 1997. 1987, 1977, 1957. It's the immediacy of which information can be disseminated.
Yes.
And so now it's not. So do you think it's genuine then? Do you think that people are wholly caring about these individuals, or is it just brand reputation?
Yeah, just brand reputation.
If people cared, they would have put a stop to it a while ago, or at least made attempts to.
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing that has sparked people is the fact that it came out in public, and they're like, oh, we have to look like we're doing something. Because if people cared, they wouldn't have let Matt Lauer turn his office into a dungeon.
Yes. You would never have gotten a button to lock your door so that you can do what you want to do.
The hardest button to button. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I heard Matt's button wasn't hard at all. Pretty soft button.
Oh my God.
That's just what I'm hearing. I got friends. Okay. Anything else from that? Do you think? I mean, we've talked about this pretty extensively.
Yeah, we've got a couple of episodes of the Sunday edition talking about this in depth.
In depth. Okay.
In depth.
Okay. That's very suggestive.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Are you pushing somebody's head down?
Yes, she is. That was a head push.
Was not.
Last head.
You're a head pusher.
2017.
You're a head pusher. Wait a minute. Okay. So, okay, awesome. 2017. Who's next? What you got?
There's a comment by Mr. Rafael Antonio Martinez.
Yes.
Weinstein. The very nature of entertainment is exploitative.
Yes.
This, like many of the scandals of Hollywood's past, will be red hot for a few years and then go back into the darkness and will return stronger than ever. I think he said more, it's not showing me. But basically, I think he's saying that, oh, here we go. All of the solutions have been surface.
Yes.
Fire a guy from one job, another outlet will bring him back. It's just the nature of the business. Absolutely.
Yes.
I think that's what we were saying. It's surface.
Yes. It's very surface. No one cares. Thank you, Rafael Antonio Martinez.
He came for you earlier, by the way. He called your jacket Jolly Rancher green.
That's what's up.
Green Jolly Ranchers are good, though.
They are. They're the best.
They're one of the best.
Green Jolly Ranchers are the best.
Yeah. My style's the best, though. So, you know, I mean, he tried it.
Yeah.
He tried it. Next story.
Next story is the taking of a knee.
Oh, okay.
Now listen, like Weinstein, I have mentioned this many, many times on sports, so I'm not going to go in on it, but I'm going to review this and talk about why it's significant and where we're at. So, America, read white people, went crazy when Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem, right? He was let go or left 49ers. That's unclear. There's two sides of that story. But he was out of a job, looking for a job, has not gotten one this whole offseason or during the current season, although many less talented quarterbacks, statistically, no matter what you say, statistically, less valuable, less talented quarterbacks have gotten positions over Kaepernick. So, one, there was blackballing of this man because of this. Again, though, I believe it's because of that surface. There's too much heat on this, public relations wise. We can't afford to have this man on our team. I believe that the team said no. That was the other part of that is how dare he? How dare this black man try and call attention to the flaws of our country? So what did people do? They misdirected, right? Oh, well, he's not patriotic. Oh, he hates the American flag. He hates troops, right? Not it at all. Yet we're directing it this way. Oh, he should be at his job doing his job. Oh, he should be doing this. Misdirection. Let's put it on the NFL. So what happens? People are going back and forth about it. Other players are taking a knee, but nobody loses their job. Nobody gets suspended. Right? There was one day because Trump decided he was going to chime in. The whole NFL was like, nah, you don't get to tell us what to do. So there was solidarity in that. But after that, pretty much some people were kneeling. Owners weren't really doing much about it, except for Jerry Jones. I'm not gonna talk about him. He don't get no more airtime on my show. But in the end, the NFL came up with a solution, right? They're gonna give, I think, millions and millions of dollars towards racial injustice causes, right? Which I think is a good thing, but again, they are not the cause, they are not the problem.
Right. It's not the NFL.
It's the problem that everyone has loved to, and this was the goal from the beginning, was to get it off the actual thing he was protesting, which was black people are unfairly being beaten, profiled, killed by law enforcement, and nothing is being, and not just law enforcement, because we got Trayvon, that guy
was a citizen
that murdered Trayvon Martin and got away with it.
Yeah.
These things are happening and nothing is being done about it. And Colin was like, hey, let's call attention to this. Let's have a discussion. So in the end, my question to you guys, do you think that this protest was effective or counterproductive? In the end. Because right now, it's not really being talked about, and it's almost a non-issue in the NFL.
So I'm not going to say that it was effective, because we still do see things of a few weeks ago where we heard Diddy say he wanted to buy the Panthers, and those newscasters made that profile of him. Oh, he looked like he just got through drinking a 40. And it's like, you say this on the news when you have Diddy, who's a Forbes member, you know, one of the richest businessmen in all of...
Yes, who have been linked to 2 high-profile criminal investigations, being murder. And I don't care what anyone says. I hate to cut you off, but, you know, I'm not one of the blacks who's like, yeah, Diddy, you know what, Diddy, and I hate to do this, and people are going to get mad and come from me if you want to, but his whole background is shaky. The whole thing is shaky. You know, Barack Obama, if he had an eighth of some of the stuff Diddy did, he would not have become president. You know, he had to be as squeakiest, as cleanest as possible. They tried to drag him with the marijuana, and I believe it was cocaine use. But he publicly outed himself in his book. So when you don't covet, when you don't hide, you know, when you hide, that's when it's a problem. But, like, let's be for real here. You are linked to 2 murders in Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur. You are, and not even that he did anything, but you're linked to it. Then you were in a high-profile situation with your bodyguard with the J-Lo and Shine situation in the nightclub. Like, you can't avoid these hyper-controversial situations.
In that same sense, right? Who's one of the biggest NFL owners?
Jerry Jones.
Ursay.
Oh, Jim Irsay, yeah.
Every other year, he's in some kind of drug. You know,
getting pulled over for being high and drunk.
It goes through the news for a little while, and then it's under it. The thing is, he doesn't get that same kind of. He doesn't get called a crackhead on the news when he does.
He does not.
You know, and so my thing is, you're still profiling. You know, if we're gonna call a ball, we have to call a strike a strike. Like that baseball reference. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Call a strike. Call a ball. Call an out and out.
Yes.
Call a home run a home run.
Yes.
So happy to have Tone here on the Sunday edition for his first debut appearance.
He's so excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm part of the discussion.
They don't usually let me out till later in the day, after dark.
So, but that being said, has it been counterproductive?
Yes.
I believe it has backfired. You know, it's backfired. So just like you just said, like, this has now become about the NFL. And I'm like, is Kaepernick at fault here? Because you chose to use this forum to do this.
Don't blame the victim.
I didn't.
You're victim blaming.
No, you're asking a question.
I'm asking a question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. There's only certain people that have voiced this. What happened when Tim Tebow did the exact same thing? Where's Tim Tebow?
Remind me what Tim did. I just remember he was a Christian.
He took a
dude,
knee
right?
to pray. He took a knee to pray.
He took a
before
knee to
the
pray
game.
before the game. No, when he would touchdowns, anything. And
Oh,
then,
right.
Remember, he had a stance against abortion.
Yep.
He was taking a knee for abortion. Like, no. Now Tim Tebow's doing, and guess what happened? Guess what happened?
What happened to him?
Owners and teams were like, nah, he's a circus. We don't want that distraction.
Yeah.
And he's blackballed. Like,
Yeah.
Tim
But
Tebow.
he still got picked up. He still got picked up by teams.
Multiple teams picked him up.
Not after when?
Yeah, his last team he was on was over a year after he was doing that. He was on the Jets.
Oh yeah, he did get picked up.
And he
by
just
the Jets.
kind of sucked. Like, I know that's the argument against Kaepernick, but Tebow was not as good as Kaepernick.
I disagree. I disagree there, but I think that there were a lot of people, and you can statistically you can say the same thing like people were saying about Kaepernick, but Kaepernick also took a team to the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
You know, period, point blank. He was being touted as the second coming. Like, they were talking that this guy was going to be the guy.
Him versus Russell Wilson. Like, that
Yes.
was,
Okay.
it was the vision, that was the youth, that was the next generation of quarterbacks.
Like, they talked about all of his athletic endeavors from high school to him being, he was a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
He was a pitcher and how a phenomenal pitcher. Like, this kid could be in the MLB. I remember the pomp and circumstance surrounding this guy. He took a stance like we always want people to do something with their platform. And my thing that I really believe is that I think he would have, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. If he'd have done it off the field and away and at a podium in black places, they'd be like, oh, Kaepernick is talking to just black people. You know, it would have been bad. But would he have lost his job? I don't know. You don't know.
You don't know.
And can I be honest here? In that reality, I think he probably could have. Like, they would have made enough stink, and it's the people. And that's the thing that I really wanted to say. Who was making the noise? It really wasn't the owners.
No.
It wasn't. It was the people.
Yeah.
Right.
And who are these people?
He said,
It's half
"Need
of
white
Colin.
people."
Half of Colin's.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Well, spoiler alert.
but yeah, I think we're done with
Yeah,
Kaepernick.
we're done.
So,
with Colin.
next.
One of my big stories of combat sports, as we all know, Money Mayweather came out of retirement to fight the first two-weight champion in UFC, which was in Conor McGregor, and he beat him. Who beat him? Who
beat who?
Mayweather beat McGregor.
Okay.
By
Soundly.
TKO victory. It went on. A lot of people.
Go ahead.
A lot of people were on their feels about it because everyone wants, for some reason, they hate Mayweather. Yeah. They had this whole thought that McGregor's gonna come over and he's gonna teach him how to fight and not run, and they got the fight they wanted because Mayweather fought. He stood there, he boxed with him, and outboxed them. Point blank, period. And since then, we haven't seen anything from McGregor. And, and a lot of us already had discussed it. It was a big money fight. It was a huge...
One of the biggest in fighting history.
It's what Mayweather-Pacquiao would have been if they
had
fought
should have been
at their primes.
It's what it should have been. Like, we probably should have got a Manny Pacquiao Mayweather too. Like, it's like it should have been two epic fights. And I don't think anything would have been taken away from Mayweather if he lost the first one and then came back and beat him. I mean, Muhammad Ali is regarded as the greatest of all time, and he has
like
six fights, losses. Joe Louis does, but when he lost, he came back and he kicked your ass.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
Exactly.
So in that regard, we have to start looking at Mayweather, who is 50-0.
Yeah.
Probably as the GOAT. He hasn't lost in his weight classes. He hasn't been beaten. in all of boxing. So you take that 50th, you run with it. A lot of people don't know this. Like we were saying about the money fight, McGregor has 4 of the top selling fights in all of UFC history. Of the top 10, he has 4 of those spots where he main evented those. So with that being said, we haven't heard from him. I don't think he's going back to fight. You know, you got this big boxing payday.
Yeah.
What's the point of keep on putting your body through it? You young, you still got plenty of ventures in front of you.
He's pretty. He's a handsome guy, eh?
That's your Irish bro.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I'm usually good at accents. That was kind of horrible.
You gotta practice, my friend.
I don't even know anymore. It's the end of the year. I have nothing left in 2017.
I can't shame you because I get there. My accents get muddy real quick. They get muddy real quick.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I want to. Here's the thing, though. Let me ask you this question: What was such, and it has been for years, probably since the UFC legitimized itself and created weight classes and gloves and things of that nature, went from being a human cockfighting sport where it was just technique versus technique, no weight classes. If you didn't know that,
No, I ain't know that.
yeah, there were no weight classes. It was just sumo wrestler versus taekwondo.
Right.
It was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, but I loved it because that's why it was called the Ultimate Fighter, whose technique would
better.
prevail.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question, Tom. What is it with mixed martial art fans who believe, that are adamant? Rafael Martinez, I'm calling you out. He's one of them who believes that mixed martial arts is a far superior fighting form than the old guard of pugilism. What is it with them? Because I think that crowd wanted, I mean, black, white, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
The MMA crowd wanted McGregor to beat Mayweather. Why?
Because they wanted that proving ground to say mixed martial arts is better than boxing. But with this being said, now you have to understand that someone that's learning mixed martial arts, right? You go in, you have to learn wrestling, you have to learn boxing, you have to learn kickboxing, you have to learn, jiu-jitsu, judo, all these different crafts.
Biting, ball grabbing, hair pulling,
Shin kicking.
We're still talking about wrestling.
Grabbing a cage,
Yes.
talking stuff to refs.
yes,
Coach LeBron.
poking eyes.
Yeah, so they have this thing where they want to have a proving ground to say, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Anybody can get into this stuff, and it's not like that. Someone who's been purely boxing their whole life, if you get into a boxing match with them, you're going to lose. It's purely been plain and simple, been proven.
Yeah.
You can't learn all these, you can't separate all these time frames for these different things and think you can go against someone who's completely dedicated to one craft.
And you've said that. We watched UFC
219 last night. Yes.
Last night, and you were talking about how there are guys that. What was the statement that you made?
Well, if you remember back in the day, early UFC, with Randy the Natural Couture, you had Chuck Liddell, etc. When they would come out and the announcer, when Buffer would announce them, he would say, this fighter is a Taekwondo artist. This fighter is a wrestler. And you don't have that. Now every time they're announcing people, they're announcing them, he's a mixed martial artist, which means he hasn't fully dedicated himself to a certain art.
Yeah, to one discipline.
To a one discipline. That way, when you sitting there, if me and Josh had the conversation before about one of the fighters. It was actually last night. I was sat there and we were like, I was like, she's a wrestler. She's a wrestler.
Yeah, Josh told me about that.
Yeah.
Continue.
And She's a wrestler, so she wrestles. So why would I sit here and try to stand up and fight with you when I know if you punch me, I'm going down? I can wrestle you. Let me grab your legs, let me slam you on this ground, and I'll do everything else.
To that point, though, she did do some striking, right?
Yes.
And she ended up winning that match.
Yes, through wrestling. Because once she got into her groove, she was able to start pushing that agenda. You know, because when I was wrestling before, my coach always had this one thing. He was like, you don't need 1,001 moves. You need to learn one move and know how to hit it from anywhere. You perfect that one move, no, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. And we seen it with the boxing match with Mayweather and McGregor. We proved that.
I think the proof was in the pudding, so much so that McGregor was how many years his junior? Was he at least about 6 to 8 years his junior?
Yeah, it was like 10.
Yeah.
Was it? No, Mayweather's 40, right? Mayweather was 40.
Mayweather's 40, yeah.
And he was
Is
2
McGregor
years.
32?
That's what I thought. I thought he was like 32 years old.
Yeah, so that's
Okay, so yeah, ish.
About 8 years. He was 2 years from retirement. McGregor had fought and trained more recently than he did, and he got outclassed.
Yep. Yes.
I mean, he just, and I just, they're two different sports. It's like legitimately saying that someone who's the greatest softball player of all time can go in and play Major League Baseball.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's not happening.
Not
Right.
happening.
It's not happening. So, I don't know.
Have a comment.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Rafael Antonio Martinez.
I don't want to hear what he has to say, but you can.
He says,
Yeah.
Mayweather has the 50-0. That number and may start looks okay. That number looks GOAT status. But when you look at the 50 closely, aspects of it become suspect in who he ducked when he decided to fight him and fighting dudes who were nowhere near ready to fight him at those times. No one can argue the technique, but when can we, I think.
Okay, this is
Okay, so here's my thing. I'm just reading the comments of what he's saying. Here's my thing, right? When you have a match, and what you're saying is people who weren't ready to fight him. You have your managing team. You both go in there and sign that contract. If he didn't feel like he was ready to fight Mayweather, he shouldn't have signed it.
But I think he's not talking about McGregor. He's talking about his history of everyone in that 50 and up, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And I get that. But here's the thing, Rafael. Like let's not be naive. And this is like all the apologists of every sport, right? Like let especially combat sports, right? Everyone ducks. Everyone moves and shifts away from. Listen, Muhammad Ali. What's his name? Rocky Marciano. He's undefeated.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We can say the exact same thing about Rocky Marciano. And sure, no one puts Rocky Marciano in the GOAT discussion. Nobody. Because of that very reason.
Right.
Because of that very reason. I myself am not here, nor I never will be here, to Mayweather isn't even in my fighters all time. Boxers, all weight class, pound for pound, he's not in my top 10. He is not in my top 10.
Okay.
He is not. So for me, I get what Rafael is saying, but everyone, listen, it's one guy that fought everybody when they were supposed to fight him, and he is pound for pound the greatest fighter that ever lived, and his name is goddamn Sugar Ray Robinson, brother. Sugar Ray Robinson, listen, Sugar Ray Robinson has more knockouts than your favorite. Your favorite has fights.
Right.
Yep.
Times 2.
Yep.
Yikes.
That man was fighting until he was 107 years old, whooping people. Listen, he is by far the greatest boxer that ever lived, by far. And anybody wants to challenge me on that, by all means, bring it. But I get what Raphael's saying, but everybody ducks, everybody dodges. So that's that.
Yeah.
You know, anything else that you have?
No. We seen it. You know. I hope they don't do this McGregor Mayweather 2 that Dana White keeps on tweeting about. I'm so tired of Dana White, but you know.
It's another discussion.
Dana
White.
Personal opinions.
Yeah. Well. So, for me, nothing kicks off a year like the Oscars. And last year's Oscar celebration, well, no, this year, it's still 2017. Right. This year's Oscar celebration was no different because of the backlash of Oscars So White campaign on social media, which I think we both have talked about in both of your stories, how social media plays a big part in action. We had an immediate record wins for people of color, like immediately.
Immediately.
It was immediate, right? Viola Davis won for Fences, and this film starring people of color, African American and Latinos, down in the Miami area, LGBTQ film known as Moonlight, could not get its proper due and celebratory accolade happening because of the fact of a fiasco starring Bonnie and Clyde, as it were. They weren't done robbing folks.
They were not.
And gunning down victims in order to obtain notoriety. And what's funny to me is the repercussions that happened. Like, I mean, it was resounding. Like, it led to so many things happening. Jay-Z released his album this year, 444, and he had a song on there called Moonlight, which he did something pretty breakthrough and revolutionary, where he had an all-black cast recast as the Friends cast. What if Friends were all black? And then he had his song in there. And if you haven't seen the video, you should probably go see it. It was really dope. I think it was really, really dope. And I think it continued off of Moonlight, like off the backs of that. What I want to say is, and I think we're going to even talk about this more later on, but the diversity issue in Hollywood, and just like your issue with the Harvey Weinstein, was the Moonlight win and all the other people of color wins that year legitimate, or was it reactionary to what everyone was saying?
I always felt it was reactionary.
Yes.
I always felt it was reactionary. And I kind of felt bad for the people who got the awards, because can you really relish in it, knowing that there's a possibility you got it just so everybody could shut up about with the hashtag?
And I know Railroad probably has actual statistics behind this, but there are many cases in which we see a obligatory, here you go, black winner. Right? When there's always rumblings about it, and it kind of grows and grows. Like, okay, here you go, Denzel. Here you go,
Halle.
Halle was probably the biggest one to me. I think Halle's.
Yeah, I'm not saying Denzel didn't.
No, keep going. I'm just.
So and then it goes back to Oscars So White. But I mean, we've had this conversation before. What's the real topic behind this? Is it that Oscars should be more inclusive, or are they percentage-wise already about as inclusive?
I hate that you mentioned that, but remember, one time I actually sat down and I did the math.
Yes.
I literally did the math. Guys, I'm really sorry that I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I'll do it and I'll post it later, but I literally sat down and took all of the people, all the African Americans. Is that what I did?
Yes.
I did all the African American acting and direct, I think acting awards against all of their contemporaries and everything else. Of all of that, it actually came out to almost to the number of the percentage of African American people who reside in the United States of America.
Yep.
And the population. So we reflected our population within the population of the film industry. So it was like 12%.
Okay.
We've won 12%. And I was like, that's about who we are. Now, here's what's funny though. Was that calculated? Like, did they do that?
It couldn't very well be.
You know, you have an accounting firm.
Right. Because I always wonder, why the heck do you have an accounting firm
Why do you have an
doing
account?
this?
Guys, do it yourself at home. Do the math yourself. It's real.
Yes.
It is real.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe when we had this discussion a while ago, and I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, y'all, look at this number. It's nuts. So what our population was. And, you know, but here's the thing that we talk about. Let's get to this part of it.
Yep.
Why do we keep begging for white acceptance? Please tell me. Listen, I'm telling you right now, it drives me up a wall because there are too many of these new millennial Negroes and Negresses who feel like that the only way that they are somebody is to have that white acceptance. Let me get that blue check mark. Let me get an award. Let me get put into their publication. But when we're put into our publication, that's not good enough.
Right.
When you work with an actual black, you know, content creator, that's not good enough.
Right.
You have to get the mainstream recognition from
validate
white to
yourself.
validate you. Why is that? We have enough platforms. We have Soul Train. We have Essence. We have NAACP. We have what's the other one that you talk? BET Awards. What's the Gospel Awards?
Oh, the Stellar Awards.
The Stellar Awards.
Yep.
We have Steve Harvey, the hoodies. Like, y'all make jokes, but we have enough platforms. Why do we care? No, seriously, don't shake your head. Give me something. Why do black people? Why do Latino people? You know what? I've never heard from Asians, but I'm sure they're like, you know, so like, you know. So, but like,
I think it's the whole thought that we've already been built in the sense that we're second class. So when you sitting there and you're always thought of as second class, and you see it through your society constantly pushing that thought onto you, when you do want to get to, you want to hit that mountaintop, you know.
Yeah.
What we always think about, I finally got a piece of the pie, the Jeffersons, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And so even with that thought, that's inclusion, you know. I want a piece of that pie, you know, instead of making your own pie because you have these materials.
Yes, go bake your own pie.
You
and
want
go
that pie.
Eat that pie with the people that like you.
Yes.
Instead of being in an uncomfortable room, to, like, listen, like, I'm a kitchen sink conservative. I keep it as plain as possible. I'm just, you know, I'm not an intellectual by any stretch. I'm not an academic, so, you know, I don't presume to be one. But here's the thing. Let me say this really quickly. Raphael said on Facebook, white people use Moonlight as liking, I have a black friend. Oh, I have a black friend.
Oh, yeah,
They're like,
absolutely.
oh, I have a black friend. You know, I work with,
Yes, absolutely.
we go to lunch,
Absolutely.
and it does 2 checks, like you say about black women in the workforce. You're black and you're a woman. 2 checks.
Yes.
Moonlight was 2 checks. It's,
Yes.
it's gay
Black and
and
black.
gay. Oh, and what's the actor name?
Marshall Ali.
Marshall Ali.
Labo.
Can we be very honest here? Did he deserve that Oscar?
I ain't watched it.
No.
Did he deserve that Oscar?
No, he
No,
didn't.
he did not. He did not.
There were
He
better
did.
performances out there.
He is listen. He has been a fan of ours since we first saw him in 4400. Do you remember?
Yes,
Remember when we
absolutely.
discovered him in 4400?
Absolutely.
And we thought he was remote. We was like, where's this
Yeah,
guy? Get him in more stuff. We were
Awesome.
fans.
Yeah.
That man can act.
And
That
look, his job as what's his name?
Cottonmouth.
Yes, Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth.
Come on.
goodness.
We want
That
him.
deserved an award.
Yes.
deserved it.
Yes. We
That
want him
deserved
back
That
in the
deserved an
Marvel
award,
universe.
but this
Yes.
particular, that scene, that's the thing. It was like, well, he's playing the black guy. It's the
he's playing a straight black man.
gangster.
He's playing a drug dealer
Yep.
who has taken a crack baby under his, you know, like it was dynamics there. Yep. It was a lot. Listen, there was a lot of dynamics there. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I did not enjoy the hype of it. I thought it was overhyped, but some of the themes and what was happening was sensational. Mm-hmm. Sensational doesn't mean amazing. Understand what sensational means. Right. Yep. It was sensational, but it was not amazing. Yep. I thought it was one of the greatest MTV era style films of all time. Like you're talking about your Footlooses, you're talking about your Purple Rains, the MTV style, the visuals. It cares more about that and the edits and the pacing than it does a lot of the finer story plots. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm always gonna just be upset with black people and people of color and all the other minorities who just want an Oscar, who just want an Emmy, who just want a Tony. And you know, the funny thing is, Tonys are pretty much run by the white homosexual elite, right? I mean, is that?
That's fair.
Yes,
that's fair. So it's run by a minority, but who are still at the top of that minority food chain. You're still white. That's right. And because now Love wins, whites were added back into the gay whites were added into the mainstream fold of whiteness. Yep. Right. So no, we don't have to get rid of you now. Now you're back in, and we have you in, and so we're winning all the way around. And now, have anyone seen, real quick? Has anyone seen like these prejudiced gay whites? Have you seen more of them?
Yes. You wouldn't believe. Yes.
Like it's like being a crippled and then racist. He's like, what are you looking at, coon? Like,
oh my God.
Excuse me. Do you realize Hitler was euthanizing you first?
Yes.
First. Yes. It wasn't even as well as first. He was like, he's like believing the crippled.
I think that's exactly what he said.
Why?
After the showers with no water for you. Ja, Herr Hitler. Ja, Herr Hitler. And I was like, say Nazi.
Oh, shoot.
You say what now?
Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. That was funny. Oh, God. Okay. All right.
On to the next one.
Okay. So, another big story for 2017. This was Trump's first year in office. And we have not seen... Oh, what's happening over here? Okay. We have not had a first year of presidency like this first year of presidency ever. That is my argument. I have not done any research to verify.
You don't really need to, like...
This first year has been crazy. It started off with the inauguration being very not attended in comparison to other inaugurations, and his first temper tantrum as a result of people reporting on that and how that led into hashtag fake news. And alternative facts. That was first.
Alternative facts.
Remember?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about alternative facts. Let's bring that back.
That came right out of that first Twitter tantrum when he was very upset that people were actually reporting the facts that nobody came to his inauguration. We had the Women's March as a result of that, and him being actually elected. And when that was dying down, we had the firing of James Comey, the director of the FBI, and how that spun right into the Mueller investigation, which our country is spending quite a bit of time and effort.
And what is that investigation, if you don't
They
mind?
are investigating his connections with Russia and Russian officials during the elections. How are they meddling in those elections? Did they meddle in those elections? And did Trump and his administration know about it and involved in it to push him into office? Yeah. That's huge.
I had a point. I forgot it. Keep going. Sorry.
Let's see. After that, protest of white nationalists pushing White Lives Matter as a result of Trump being in office. So they felt very empowered to come out and say, nah, F you BLM, WLM, which actually involved the young lady being killed. Remember that protest in Charlottesville where she was hit by that car and she
run down.
So we had that as a result of Trump. And then we had, if you will, the rise of elections of minorities in response to all of this. We had a lot of firsts in actual U.S. federal elections where we had, first Latinas, first Asians in U.S. Congress. Like, we had so many. We had trans people.
Yep.
But listen, there has been a lot as a result of this man being elected as president.
So let me say this. And I hate to say it, I am happy he became president.
Go right ahead.
And the reason being, we have lived in this whole little dark age where everyone's like, oh, racism doesn't exist anymore, right? Mm-hmm. But then when you put a face in front of it that starts pushing these people to feel like they can say these racist things, they can say these sexist things, and there's no repercussion because my president does it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So now people are starting to, you sit there and get those people that's on the fence where they're like, oh, so this what y'all was talking about. Let me come on over here with y'all because I don't want to be included with them. I have a friend who said, he said that it's the same thing that happened when you had the Civil War. You had brother against brother because one wanted slavery, one was against it. And that's what we're seeing now. And it's a good thing to finally be able to, put these faces to these aspects, even though we know all of them not coming out. All of these racist, sexist, homophobic faces aren't coming to light because they know better. But a lot of them, they're getting exposed now.
Yeah, I felt from the beginning that if you had to search for a positive about Trump getting elected, it's that it will bring a lot of things that need to be addressed to a head so that people are forced to address them. What's the outcome going to be?
I think it's a mess.
Yes.
I think it's beyond a mess.
Yes.
We're getting ready to approach critical mass with this tax bill.
Yes.
If we thought that the housing market bubble bursting was bad, if we thought that the recession was bad, if we thought that the financial institutions, because of the bubble bursting, because the auto industry, then the bailouts, if we thought all of that was bad and we all lived through that, this is going to push us into situations a lot of us aren't ready for. And I don't think that I'm ready for it. And I think that I've said this in private many a day. And I hate to say this, but I have blamed Barack Hussein Obama since day one. I think that I knew it, and a lot of people get upset with me. This country was not ready for it. We went through, don't get this confused, people. We went through 8 years of abuse as a response to him being in office.
Yep.
If you don't think that all of that police violence and activity of citizens ramped up because it was a direct reflection of their politics and them being upset that this man is their president and I refuse, like all the birthers, we all knew what the code switching was and what that meant. He's not even from here. He's not. My mother once said to me, she says, you can always tell when it's whose agency it is, right? She said, when it's an American association, that's whites. She said, when it's a national, it's blacks. And I was like, wow. She was like the National Association of this
men of color people. Yep.
And she said, that's black.
Wow.
And so, and she was talking about her medical association, and then she was like, "There's a whole nother one called the American."
That is so real.
It's very real. Think about the journalists
and journalists. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Oh my God, it is national for everything black.
Yes, we're not Americans, and yet again we go back to. Go back to, like, it's all connected. 2017, if you really, and it's not, the woke, like, let's stop being immature here, people. Let's stop using buzzwords.
Thank you.
Let's stop it, and let's get real. if you open your eyes and pay real attention, we have been and will remain until when? I do not know. A bloody coup? Every other nation on this planet has had bloody coups to dispose despots.
Yep.
Okay? Am I right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are still playing nice with people and believing, well, a system.
Yeah.
We constructed, everybody had a democracy. And they were like, this shit ain't working. Off with their damn head. Storm the castle. And guess what? You go to France now, when the people start acting a fool, them officials like, hey, what do y'all want? What do y'all want? Because they don't want to lose.
Right.
And guess what? We are the ones losing, and they get to it's business as usual. Trump has put all his friends in power. He has put his children.
Yes.
His children are getting our tax fucking dollars to do nothing. They make more than you and me combined. And you all aren't storming the castle. We as American citizens should be outraged and fucking ashamed. Because guess what's gonna happen? I made the joke of each I ain't believing, but guess what? When those stormtroopers start kicking in your door and put you and your children and your wife and your children and your children, and they can have mine. They can go work. Take them. You listen, man. They are. I don't want to sound like the paranoid guy, but listen. What do you all think is happening? Yeah. These police officers are getting acquitted and acquitted and acquitted. They are becoming more emboldened to do whatever they want to do.
Yes.
They're getting ready to steal all of our money. They're getting ready to steal all of our money.
Just about to say that they're taking our money. This package bill is passed, and you talked about previously with the whole sexual harassment. Maybe that's what's going to get Trump. Or maybe the Russian investigation is what's going to get Trump. We keep saying this, but none of it is happening. And think about this. They have just opened up an investigative team to investigate the investigative team. So they are investigating Mueller. They are investigating Mueller's team. So guess what that means?
More money.
More money.
It also means more misdirection.
Yes.
Yep.
And it muddles the picture so much that you cannot come to a conclusive, this is what happened decision, and he gets to stay in power.
Yes.
It's disgusting. It's scary. It's scary.
Yes.
I don't really, I made a joke because, that's my defense mechanism.
Right.
I use humor to, deflect.
Illustrative.
Yeah. But this is scary, people. When are we going to wake up? The wealthy are going to get wealthier. Yeah. And listen, man, we are moving towards a dystopian society. We keep talking about it, but the middle class will be gone. In 8 years, the middle class will be gone. There will only be the wealthy and the poor.
There was a tweet that I did a screen capture, but I don't know if I can get to it quick enough. But basically what it said was, man, Trump ain't never going to be able to be the nominee for the presidency. And then it was, man, Trump ain't never going to be able to be president. And then it was, man, I hope my district wins in the Hunger Games tonight.
Yeah?
Basically.
Accurate.
That's what we had.
No, seriously.
It's literally where we're at. Yeah.
We are headed to some shit that you can't dream up. And I know you have it later on, and I kind of want to move faster in these segments. But it's some strange days are not coming. They're here.
They are here.
They're here. So, all right. So, what's the next one?
That will be me. We're going to move on. Oh, nope. That would be
me.
Go ahead,
So,
brother.
Real quick.
We seen the return of GSP, so basically we had some good returns this year, unlike the Rousey return in 2016.
Oh man, that was awful.
Yeah, she got
Yikes.
But GSP came back after a huge hiatus, and he won the middleweight title off Michael Bisping, the Count. This was the first time we've seen GSP back in the octagon in about 7 years. So For him to come back and perform the way he did was unheard of, especially considering all the injuries, everything. GSP is arguably the greatest UFC fighter, right next to Anderson the Spider Silver.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest. That's the fight that never happened. You know, that's the. You know, that was the Pacquiao Mayweather of UFC.
Sure was.
And we never got a chance to see it because GSP was welterweight. Anderson Silva was a middleweight. And now we finally see GSP go up to middleweight, take out the count, and it was great. We're not seeing. He's right now. He's on injury reserve though. So, was it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you come back even if you gotta go back on an injured or whatever. You came back and showed the world, yeah, I'm the greatest.
Where did his fight rank in the top UFC?
9.
Rank number 9.
9.
It's worth it.
There you go.
It was worth it.
So, right now, like I said, he came back. You know, he's on injury reserve. And then we have to get back to the Dana White thing because now Dana White is saying he's not really injured. He just doesn't want to fight. Yeah, so.
Dana White.
He's the worst.
He's absolutely worst.
I don't understand how you can talk about your champion. You know, you talk about you get bread and butter and then you say, what is this?
Yeah. Well, it's you want to make yourself. It's a narcissistic complex. Yeah. He's more important. He thinks he's the UFC. So
yes.
he thinks he is actually the UFC and he is better than the fighters. And
Dana White is to UFC as Trump is to America.
Boom.
All right, very
Moving
good.
on.
Moving on.
Moving on. That. Got nothing.
Jacob.
So just a real quick roll from that Trump conversation. So Russia, there was a lot of international scandals. I wanted to touch that. The big scandals and corruption that was kind of outed from FIFA a couple years ago. People have finally actually begun to get prosecuted, and the first person was actually arrested and put in jail for that corruption.
Yes.
There's a lot to come on that, but that's big, and they are following through with it. I think it should be an example of what to do when there's corruption in sports, and there's a lot of other sports that need to follow that model. That being said, the Olympics have always had a doping problem. Apparently, Russia got caught doping big time, and the Russian team as a whole has been banned from the Olympics. So the athletes themselves can participate under a neutral flag, but you cannot represent the country of Russia.
You know what that sound like?
What that sound like?
Spy games. I'm gonna sneak over here to this country's team.
But they don't get to. They don't get to go to another team.
They don't get to go to another team.
They don't get to just pick.
I believe everything he said was laid out for us. Neutral. No flag. So no spy games there. Good try though. So
so I do feel like that this whole situation, especially when it was unfolding, was because America got involved a little bit.
Yes.
There was political commentary.
Absolutely, it was.
Yes.
Putin, of course. So I just Putin. He be ruling, but he be Putin.
Okay.
There's a reason why the two of you are over there.
Hashtag formula of destruction.
This is what happens when they already signed their contracts in 2018. See,
They haven't signed them contracts?
They already signed them, so that's why they getting all this out.
That's dry.
Oh, they
That's
get to
why.
do whatever they want to do now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hashtag tenure. So yeah, so I feel this was some conspiratorial aspects of it. I feel sorry for the athletes, but obviously there were a lot of athletes that were doping. So
listen.
Everybody dopes. What is the problem?
Bang.
Like,
What'd you say?
Everybody dopes. Here's the funny thing about doping, right? We are so sophisticated in our performance enhancement drug taking that we know how to schedule these drugs. Now, what I think happened is I don't know. I don't know the finer points of this investigation and how it unfolded. But the Olympic Committee can make pop-ups They can go to athletes whenever they want to and be like, hey, you gotta take a test. And they be like, God, and they're in the middle of their cycle. And their doping cycle. You know what I mean? And so what ends up happening is you get so many, here comes that flag. You know, and then they probably went to they probably went to weightlifting, they probably went to swimming, they probably went to, they went enough places like, oh, y'all had 12 people get popped for doping, and the whole, hell no, get your,
so they did investigations, and there was a whole lab and stuff. It was they had a whole setup. So
I don't know, man. I think, listen, again, spending money and resources and manpower and man hours talking about sports, it's legitimately, to me, it's like spending all that time to talk about gaming, to talk about, the movie industry. And, it's like, guys, come on, man. Like relax. Let everybody dope. Who's ever the best performer in that, and so be it. If maybe we have the doping games, and then we have the
doping
I love that.
Who's the dopest?
Oh my God, I've never seen a human being in my life lift a ton.
It's like, he's gonna feel that in the morning.
Shoot it behind your eyeballs. Shoot it behind your eyeballs.
So,
that's my story.
That's your story. Okay. Who's next?
You be next.
I'll be next. So one thing that has happened in 2017 is seeing the rise of the minority directors helming big budgeted feature films. So much so that it has become almost a phenomenon. So let's say we start with besides Jordan Peele, he had a huge film, not a huge budget though.
No, not a huge budget.
It wasn't a huge budget, but he had a tremendous ROI. But then you had the Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins, right? She set records in 2017. Wonder Woman, the film delivered a $100 million domestic opening weekend. The best by a female director, right? So then you have 50 Shades of Grey from Sam Taylor Johnson, another woman director as well. Patty Jenkins will be the Hollywood's top highest paid female director with 2019's Wonder Woman sequel. She will be paid in the $8 million range to direct that. Then we have Ryan Coogler, right? He is helming Disney's / Marvel's Black Panther venture, as well as Miss Ava DuVernay. Both of them are featured here. And she's doing, what's the name of the film that she's directed? A Wrinkle in Time. Another Disney production that's budgeted over $100 million.
Yes.
Obviously, this ties into Oscars so well. It ties into that. What are your quick thoughts on throwing us these bones?
That I'm a little bit different than on the awards thing. I am extremely glad because I feel like this kind of diversity does bring in this whole new perspective through film. So you got all these minority perspectives coming into film, people that have not had their voice. Because the directors and filmmakers, they speak through that film, and so if you're hearing them, it's not just what one person's acting job is. I like it, and I think I would hope there'd be more of it.
I'm going to have to disagree with these two. Now, I'm about to quote The Revolution, so if I am wrong, please feel free to correct me. He said before that with Marvel, if you're directing a film, it's not as much autonomy as if you were somewhere else. Am I quoting you correctly in that aspect?
Oh, absolutely.
That it doesn't really matter who is directing.
Nope.
We got this ish already pretty much in a workflow. You're just almost a face and name. If am I getting that right?
No, you're absolutely getting it right. And let's really, and that's why I said whatever, right? Because you're the name that goes on this to draw more people.
Yeah, Disney and Marvel is not letting you F up in a film.
They've
got a method. It's not.
Look at the films, like let's take for instance Guardians of the Galaxy, right? James Gunn hadn't had a film prior to Guardians that actually made money. Okay? So they put him in charge because we can kind of tell you what to do. And let us be even more real here, okay? That your boy Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon had 2 major studio films. One was, what's the one, the space with the brown and the I could care less about, but Gina Torres. Gina baby with them lips. Holy moly. And then he had, what was the other film that he directed? I don't even care because I hate Joss Whedon. I hate Joss Whedon. He literally hasn't done anything with his box office. And then they gave him the Avengers. They was like, oh, Joss Whedon. No, he has these properties, people. Like, the directors, Raphael, I want Raphael, okay, here he is. All the Marvel flicks literally look the same because they hire the same post-production guys, and they always use the same colors. Cinematographers don't matter. Directors are babysitters on Marvel sets. Yes. First of all, most people don't even know, in these big budget films, you have unit directors. No one director is sitting there for every shot. They have whole teams going in different directions, filming simultaneously, so this film can get done in like 2.5, 3 months.
Right.
Yeah.
That one director is not going on every shoot. So like the guys like Kevin Smith, Spike Lee, Tarantino, you know, the indie directors, those guys are really sitting there with their films. They are a labor of love. And these big budgeted films, get out of here. It's not real. It's smoke and mirrors. It is to quell.
Yep.
It is to quash.
And to attract.
So my
I'm
question,
still sticking by my statement.
my question is so did we have the same kind of surge for black writers, screenwriters?
Whoa! Now you're asking some great questions there. Look into it because you. You know, we'll get back to that though. We'll get back to that later on. So that was that. That was that.
Lord.
Next one.
Oh yes. So in my final, big story for 2017, we had catastrophe this year.
Yes,
We had catastrophe from nature, and we had catastrophe from man. And so with catastrophe from nature, we had Hurricane Harvey, we had Hurricane Irma, and Hurricane Maria that caused utter devastation in the southern states. So much so that Puerto Rico is still 60% without power.
60%.
It's been weeks. It's been more than more than a
months.
quarter.
It's been months.
I think it's been almost a quarter.
Because it happened
in October.
August,
No, it's
September.
August. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Harvey was August and Maria came right after that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking a quarter, where thousands of people have literally had to say goodbye to Puerto Rico as their home.
And tens of thousands.
Like, there's so many that are Florida, and they've gone as far as New York. That was like, there's nothing for me to return to. They literally had to go somewhere else to live. Not temporarily, but forever.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like Katrina.
Just like it.
Just like it. What other catastrophes did you have?
So for man, we had mass shootings. We know very well here at FCN where we had our launch day of FCN Prime News, and the whole thing was just pushed to the side to deal with a maniac in Las Vegas who decided to shoot up a country music festival. And so it was at that point became the largest mass shooting of most people who died from that mass shooting. Like, it dominated, news for a while. And then we had a few more mass shootings after that. We had one where a gentleman went to his church and shot, well, not his church, but a church, and shot up the church, and had family members in that church and just killed people, including young children. It was insane. And of course it sparked, again, conversation about gun control and the NRA's influence in this nation. Far and wide, but we definitely had catastrophe in the news this year, 2017.
Our launch date was in October, correct?
October 1st.
October 1st. We haven't we've had more mass shootings in this country than months we've been on the air. Damn. Just this year.
Wow.
Yeah, just this year.
Just this year.
Wow.
We've had more mass shootings
Been days we've been on
Been
it,
on-
actually.
you know,
Definitely more weeks than
crazy.
weeks. Yeah.
just this year. It's ridiculous, and it's gonna keep on going back to that cycle.
Yeah, and it's what we just said. We're going. It's going to be the Hunger Games. It's going. And here's what the scary thing is, right? I hate when people call me a conspiracy theorist, but again, it's just like it don't make sense. Like if it makes like, oh, it's just simple, it's just cut and dry as that. You're an idiot. But how is it that we had the mass shooting in Las Vegas and we stopped talking about Puerto Rico, and now we don't talk about Puerto Rico?
Right.
We don't talk about Puerto Rico.
Right.
Right.
We don't even talk about some of the inconsistencies in what we read about the shooting itself.
That there were people there like, nah, it was two windows. It was two
Yes.
weapons fired coming out. And then they were like, nah, it was coming from a whole
Yes.
other building.
Yes.
They said that it was, they was like, no, I saw it was coming from over there
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, witnesses, and you didn't hear about, like,
didn't
they
hear about
stopped
it, no.
talking to these people.
Mm-hmm. They sure did.
You know, so,
Sweep it under the rug.
oh my goodness. Again, we live in scary times. I am afraid, like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to hide and bury my head under the sand and try to act macho, be like, oh man, no, this is scary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the ice in Antarctic,
It's melting, yeah.
the
shelf.
huge, it cracked.
Yeah.
Like it was a huge crack,
Oh,
huge crack. It was a huge crack, and it's like, why do we think we're gonna get away with all of this stuff? Like, it's going to come to a head. Listen, we have followers, and I love you guys, but there's one follower in particular. I hope you're watching. I hope you're listening. Jesus Christ, if you're watching the show right now, please come back. Get rid of a whole bunch of folks. Bring your old lady too. We'd love to see her, because Jesus, in fact, did have a girlfriend and wife. Like, let's stop playing it.
Yeah. It happened.
It happened. Jesus. It's Miss
Right. I'm about to
Lavinia.
say, did my mama just log on?
Yeah.
Or did she
was
make
on
herself?
earlier.
Was she?
Lavinia was
Oh,
on
Lord.
earlier. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm sure. Please don't get her riled up. I'm still traumatized by how
Still
riled up
traumatized.
she
Okay.
got. You and I brought
Okay.
that to her attention.
Yep. Anything else about catastrophes? I mean, it's just scary stuff.
Yeah.
No,
America.
Yep.
Catastrophe. No.
Who's next? Is it?
Speaking of catastrophes, the Ball family, my favorite story of the year. Let me tell you about these guys.
Is they mama white?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So he's got a white wife.
Yeah,
Yep.
as a white wife.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Continue.
I think that's what Aiden's gonna look like when he grows up.
Okay.
I'm sorry, because I always do. LeVar. Okay, LeVar. Because Lonzo should be his name. Lonzo is an old man name.
No, he looks like he should be
be
named
Lonzo.
Lonzo. He grew up in L.A.
Which
He
one
look-
is Lonzo?
Lonzo is the
Lonzo.
oldest one. No.
No, that's
That's
Jello.
He look.
That's Lonzo.
That's Jello.
No.
Yeah, that's Jello.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's the cutest
Yeah,
one, and your
that's
name
Jello.
is Jello. Oh, that's terrible.
And that's Lonzo.
Lonzo and Mello.
And Melo.
Oh, this is too much.
No, that's the middle child, and he's Jello.
No,
No,
he's the
not.
middle child.
That's the NBA
That's
player.
Oh,
That's
He's not
Lonzo.
he's. Oh, see, this is how much I know
This is the oldest one.
about Levangelo.
This is
Right, that's the middle one.
yeah.
Okay.
That's Jello.
Okay.
He's just bigger than his older brother.
Leangelo. They call him Jello.
Yeah.
About the Ball family.
I mean, we can talk about the names all night. Let's
Yeah,
just
we could.
So, LeVar Ball, right? I have had discussions with the Reggie Mathis on this. We are on opposite sides of some of this story, but not the whole thing. LeVar Ball has a plan for his sons. He's got 3 sons. They all play basketball. He wants all of them to play together. He wants them to be in the NBA. He has used their skill and his social media prowess, along with his son's notoriety, to build a brand, big baller brand, of sports gear. And I feel like he has a plan. Mm-hmm. Reggie said he had a vision, not a plan. He had a plan. It got messed up when his middle son got arrested in China, right? So everything is going all right. His son gets drafted by the Lakers. Great. LeVar is going to the Lakers. He's going to be rookie of the year. He's going to be great. Lonzo. Sorry. Lonzo. There we go. Lonzo's going to, he went to the Lakers. He's right. Started struggling. Then all of a sudden, middle son, Jello, gets arrested. In the meantime,
LeVar, the dad.
Father LeVar. Yeah, now I'm confused myself. LeVar has taken his youngest son out of high school. Then he goes ahead and takes Jello out of college because they suspended him for getting arrested in China. And now he wants to start his own high school developmental league, I believe it is. So it's like an AAU kind of a league. All that's now, I don't argue with that. I don't think it's bad, but I think he's being reactionary to the kink in the plan that he did have. He had a plan. He got punched in the mouth. Everybody knows. Tyson said everybody got a plan, so you get punched in the mouth, right? Yes. He got punched in the mouth. So now he's reforming this plan. Is he making the right decisions for himself, for his sons at this point? I don't know, but I'm not counting him out yet.
I agree with that statement. I don't count him out. I mean, he's trying to create generational wealth, you know? And one of those ways is giving them a trade. If you build a brand and you teach them how to run it from ground up, you know, you can't argue with that.
Well, Rafael Martinez says, big ballers don't steal. LeVar Ball to his son. Like, big ballers don't steal. And I said that. I was like, why are you shoplifting? Like, what?
Peer pressure.
You think it was peer
Peer
pressure?
pressure, man. You with your boys. Y'all was out there. Y'all did not think about the consequences of these actions.
Do they understand China?
No.
Do they understand China?
He knows basketball. He don't know international.
Nothing.
Right.
Wait a minute. I knew theater, okay? I knew theater. If we would have gone to China and we were bad, but per adult and some of our peers, we were very bad children. Do you believe we would have gone to China and shoplifted?
Man, hell no.
You sure?
Hell no. I would say yes, we would have.
I think
we were boosters back then. But yeah, so
but I think we knew enough. We knew enough about international, like where you go and not to do stuff.
Go, right,
you don't embarrass your team. You don't embarrass your school. You don't embarrass your mama.
That alone should have done it.
Should have done it. And two, where if you sit them down, and this is where, and I'm sorry, this is where Reggie may be right. If there was an actual plan, they would know the plan. And they would not have he's a very strong-willed individual.
Yes.
They really look up to him.
Yes,
they follow his lead.
Yep. They do.
And I believe if LeVar actually said, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do. Y'all going over here now. Y'all know the rules. Hey, do this. Don't mess up the plan. Like, I don't think he had a plan. I don't.
I'll tell you why I disagree with that.
Yeah.
You are a whole country away from the strong-willed man that has directed your whole life. You have an opportunity to do something else, and it feels like being that far away in that foreign of a country. It feels like you're insulated from him, not realizing getting caught was going to be national news,
international
news. So I don't feel like he if he had said something, then Jello would have like, oh well, I'm not going to steal because Dad said we got a plan. No, I feel like he got caught up in whatever that moment was.
So here's my thing, right? What's the other kids' names that got caught stealing?
Don't know.
Don't know, right?
UCLA player number 1 and UCLA player number 18.
So the thing is, they can't find. They hate LeVar. They hate the Ball family, right? Yeah. And they're gonna keep on demonizing them, finding everything out, any little thing. They're going to make into a huge thing. Of course, we know people that shoplift every day. Let's be honest, right? Yeah. I know girls that steal a weave.
Okay.
You know who you
Every
are.
day, huh?
Where are these intelligent women who can steal from a Chinese store? How are they doing that?
They steal from a Chinese store. He went to the nation of China and thought he could steal.
Still weird.
So,
Absolutely.
Source.
Okay.
I'm the source.
So that's what I'm saying. They're demonizing. We always forget to talk. We talk so much about LeVar and what his mess talking and everything, that a lot of people don't talk about the fact that he raised 3 sons that's straight A students, 4.0 students. He don't talk
Can we
about.
fact check that? I need that fact check.
Is it safe to say that, or can we say that he had a plan, but he didn't plan beyond a certain point?
Yes.
That's what I've been saying.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But you never said what that point is,
No.
though. You've never said what that
I don't
point
know
is.
what the point is.
I think the point was
He got-
high school. And
He got him drafted.
He
And
They
got
got
him-
him drafted,
he got
and
him
that's
what
it.
he
I
wants
think
to
that
get.
was the point. I think that was the point.
He wants to get the
So,
other
yeah,
two
see.
drafted, but
Yeah,
at this
but that's-
point,
that
you don't know how to.
He ain't
that's
thought
a
that
vision.
far.
Yeah.
That was a vision.
Yes.
And listen, the reason why he got drafted, because he spent so much time with Lonzo. That
Yes.
the plan, he
Yes.
focused. And let's be honest, he's not that good.
No.
This is
They
why
were saying he wasn't going to be a starter.
he wasn't gonna start for UCLA. Listen, the stealing just expedited that. He was not gonna start.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And then he was not gonna get looks. At the very best, he was headed to the D League.
Right.
Okay.
At the very
Yeah.
best, he was headed to the D League. They say
Mellow.
Yeah.
He's
Melo.
the star.
that he's dope.
That
They
he's-
say
right.
they
He's
say
gonna be-
Melo is actually dope.
Yeah, he's.
Okay.
They say Melo is dope, but I think he's got a long way to go because he doesn't have the size, he doesn't have the body.
Yeah, he's not.
He should be playing football like his father did. He should not be playing basketball. He's gonna wash out. I believe the two of them. I think Zoe is gonna have a future in the NBA. I think he's gonna play 10 seasons.
Yes.
I believe he'll stay around for 10 seasons. Everyone, there are how many number 1 draft picks that have been total busts?
Yes.
How many top 5s
Yes.
have been total busts? Like top 5, 1 through 5 have been busts
Yeah.
from a whole draft class. So like that. Let's not act like that's something earth shattering. So moving on, real quick. Let everybody know about this one quickly, please.
Wrestling world, we got Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. Big thing because, of course, everyone's known since 1998. Jericho's been 99 actually. Jericho's been in the WWE. This is the first time he stepped outside of the WWE since then. And for him to return to New Japan Pro Wrestling to challenge the up and coming mega leader of the one of the best selling brands now, which is the Bullet Club, it's a huge match. And it's actually showing us that maybe WWE is starting to acknowledge, well, not even starting to.
No.
They have officially acknowledged there are other wrestling brands out here that can compete with them. Because Jericho is, to me, and y'all can at me about this, Jericho's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Jericho is the GOAT. He's been in all the major promotions, ECW, WCW, New Japan. This is his return to it. And he's going against Kenny Omega. The match hasn't happened yet, but we're looking forward to it.
It was announced in 2017.
It was announced in 2017.
And I think that it sent shockwaves around not only the wrestling community, but actually the sports world.
Yes.
Well, recently, you just told me Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated actually announced that Kenny Omega is their 2017 Superstar of the Year.
Wrestling
Oh, wow.
superstar. Of the
Yes.
year. So, I mean, obviously, you look at that where we're juxtaposing Chris Jericho as one of the GOATs, one of the greatest, maybe even Mount Rushmore
Yes.
performers of all time, right? And then this up-and-comer, both of them are Canadian.
Yes.
And it started with a very funny, they had this interesting back and forth Twitter beef.
Yep.
Where Kenny Omega says he's the best on the planet, right? and Chris Jericho says, "Man, you're not even the best in Winnipeg." He said, "Man, you're not even the best in Winnipeg." And I think that's when it
got serious.
It got serious and escalated. And Jericho has did he have a cruise planned or something?
Jericho had a cruise that happened when he brought wrestlers on there, which included, Bullet Club member Cody Rhodes. So everybody knows Cody Rhodes, the Rhodes family. Had the Young Bucks, all of them competed on this big yacht cruise that, had with fans. Yes. And all of a sudden he makes one appearance in WWE. And then he disappears again. Like everyone was talking about, Jericho's back. Where is he at? Next thing you know, he shows up on this New Japan promo, and we're like, whoa, what? Like literally, lights go out. You're the best. No, I'm the best. Alpha versus Omega. And since then, they've cut some of the best promos possible between these two. They've had backstage fights. Jericho popped up on them and had them bloody, and they're going to be going against each other on January 4th for the United States title, which Kenny Omega is the first United States champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They created it.
Really quickly, Raphael says on Facebook, Jericho versus Omega is a huge thing, but unless that match ends up on an American pay-per-view, New Japan Pro Wrestling will once again have something nice that 15% of the pro wrestling audience will pay to see on New Japan World. And then he also said, doping arguably saved baseball. LOL. Yes. Yeah. Yes, it did.
McGuire.
Absolutely.
Bonds.
There's no argument. That is fact.
That is fact.
Doping saved Major League Baseball.
Wow.
Doping saved. Listen, and let me get into this really quickly. All those your favorite athlete, and they recovered from these injuries. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They're using HGH.
Absolutely.
You're using human growth hormones to recover from these injuries. What's his name? Running back in Minnesota. Adrian Peterson. That's an injury that ends everybody's career, and yet he came back to record.
2,000 yard season after
he broke his own record after an injury that sends everybody to the morgue. It kills you. It literally kills you. You die and you go straight to hell when you have that injury.
Paul George broke his leg in half.
Yikes.
Literally
in half. Yeah. You guys, bones do not heal that way, and you can get. It's HGH. It is performance enhancing. And the sad thing is we don't separate the fact of HGH from anabolic steroids.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They are different.
Right.
They are very different.
Right.
And it's for recovery. It is for a lot of things. And I'm trying to get my kid on some HGH because he just had. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
He likes what?
I'm not gonna lie. My kid had a terrible knee injury. And I want him to get some HGH. I literally want him to heal better and come back better and stronger than he was and get all of those scholarship offers. He's an amazing athlete. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just like this idiot right here. I got a vision. I don't have a plan. I got a vision. I'm like, oh, you're talented in this? Oh, okay, well, let's do this to get you to this next level. My level is get you 4 years of college paid for because, all these baby mamas out here is like, ding, 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 ding. They is just stealing.
Was that Chinese?
Because they steal it.
Because they steal it.
They steal it.
So,
bringing it back.
Bring it back,
I like
so,
that.
there you go.
There you go.
Last but not least, my story was the changing landscape of television and film industry.
Yes.
With the complete emergence of streaming sources such as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and others are on their way to add their name and throw their name into the mix. We have CBS with their All Access, and they have debuted Star Trek Discovery. More people are going to do this. Netflix has just released their first big budget feature film called Bright
Yes.
for $90 million, starring Will Smith,
Yes.
Mr. 4th of July himself.
Yes.
I love it. A lot of people hate it. That's up to you. I don't poo-poo you. You discuss amongst yourselves. But I think if you love The Last Jedi, you're a moron.
And you are.
You are a moron.
Agreed.
But we can agree to disagree on Bright, but that's another case. So, obviously, what people don't know is foreign interest in the film industry is really affecting the way films are being distributed. The big blockbuster films have to go through these foreign distributors in order to recoup these monies.
Yes.
Naming one is whom? China.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't even think people know how embedded China is with the American film industry. Do you all know that your favorite theater, AMC, is owned by a Chinese group?
Yes.
You knew that?
Because you told me it today.
Okay.
Right.
They are actually
Right.
owned by a Chinese company.
Right.
And so when they have their film on those screens, they want those Marvel movies. They want those Universal Pictures over in China to give them, like, it's all part of the plan. See, that ain't a vision over there in China.
They
They
got a
don't have
plan.
it. They have plans, and they literally came over here and they bought one of the biggest chains out there. You know, a British chain bought Regal.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
Did not know that.
A British chain bought Regal. So when we have this discussion, which one are you more inclined to do and why? Are you more of a fan of the traditional film experience, being in the theater, or are you now a fan of it being at home with the Netflix and chilling?
I Netflix.
Real quick.
I Netflix and chill when it's me. If it's, my kids, I take them out.
So which do you prefer?
Prefer Netflix chill all day.
Okay.
I prefer to watch it at home.
Okay.
I prefer to be at the theater, but as it doesn't work out that way as much, I Netflix more, but I definitely prefer to be in the theater.
Okay. So, with that being said, also, television has changed. Television has evolved from the way we know it. Now, you have a lot of stars leaving the big screen
Yes.
and opting
Yes.
to do more story-driven, character-developed
Yes.
television properties.
Yep.
Is television becoming the new land of the giants for the medium? Which one is better right now?
Yes, TV is better, and we've been talking about this for
Yeah.
a while because this has been they've been working their way towards this slowly but surely. Better actors have been going to these story-driven TV shows, and now it's really showing itself in qualities of film versus all this. Every time I finish a season of a show, I remember another show that I was watching, and I can binge that season because it's over. And then I do that, and I'm like, oh, wait, there's this show. Oh, wait, this show is something somebody told me about. I want to watch that. I mean, on and on and on with TV shows.
Yeah. I know that this year, legitimately, we talked about this. We did not go to the theater this summer as
Half as much as we usually do.
other years.
Yeah.
This was a bad. First of all, it was legitimately a bad year for the film industry.
Yes.
Yes.
But guess what? We all have been talking about television.
Yep.
These shows
Yes.
have been absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now, which one do you partake more in? Do you television or film? Which one? Television. You like?
Television.
But you weren't historically a television viewer, correct?
I'm much more TV than film,
Than
than
film.
movies, right?
Okay.
So I was never a person to go to a movie and see something. I just
Okay.
wait till it came on TV.
Oh, okay. So,
I've always liked movies.
okay.
I've always liked movies, and it's just lately it's the TV shows that get me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've loved movies, but I am TV all the way. And
Yeah.
what happens with me with TV shows and stuff is what happened with books. I used to read books, just devour books when I was younger in high school. And when it was over, I hated it because I was engrossed in this story and these characters. That happens to me with TV, less with movies, because they're shorter, because it's just one of them. You know what I mean? Because the quality has gone down on some of these recently.
Yeah.
But these TV shows, man, I'm engrossed, and I want to know what happens next. So guess what? Hit play, and I'm going to find out what happens next.
Because you can't see character development in an hour and a half.
You can, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. Raphael says on Facebook, the best creators are slowly going to TV because they get more time to tell stories.
Yep.
And those things have a longer shelf life.
Yes.
One a year have that appointment and can keep a star and creator known for years. Film doesn't hold that attention anymore, and it isn't as long lasting. They don't stick. Listen, there are films where we go, wait, what happened in that story? Like where you just listen. You can't compare. You show me a film in the last 10 years that you could put up against a film like Ghostbusters, a film like Back to the Future, a film like let's get away from genre type shows.
Okay.
Give me something like The Color Purple.
Yes.
Give me something like what's another film that you would say along those lines from certain times, 80s, like what would you? Godfather.
Oh God, yes. I'm trying to blank.
You're drawing a
Sorry.
blank? Okay. Thank you.
Goodfellas.
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 And think of the character development
In Goodfellas.
in Goodfellas. And then we all guess what? Because of Goodfellas, Sopranos happened, and then you get a greater, and Sopranos became one of the greatest series of all time with the horrible ending, and everyone cursed out HBO. Like, in my subscription, what is going on? And the screen went black. I was like, so that's what y'all doing? Like, I knew it was a swerve. I said, so that's what we doing? We don't know what happens?
Okay.
I was like, I see what you did. I hate y'all. I hate y'all guts. But we, and like Raphael said, those people want that time to tell those stories. And I have always been a bigger fan of television. I love the experience of film. When I went to a movie, I almost knew it was going to be great. Yep. Like the films I love to this day. I've introduced you to how many comedies and movies where you go, that movie was actually great. Like when you really look at Police Academy, Police Academy was great. You name any one of these ridiculous raunchy comedies now, and like, listen, I like Girls Trip. I like Girls Trip. I said that I love that film, but let us be very clear. You can take Girls Trip, you can take The Hangover, you can take Bad Moms. It'll take 3 more of those films to equal the actual comedic and storytelling ability of Police Academy.
Yeah.
Police Academy was amazing. So, what are you guys looking for in 2018 as far as news, politics, and what are you looking for?
Definitely still with Trump. Seeing the outcome of the investigation for Trump-Russia and seeing if they're going to make any headway in his impeachment at all to get him out of office. I do not think he's good for this country. And so it would be nice if we got something to get him out of office, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if there's any unraveling, really, of his presidency to get him out.
Okay.
Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Wrestling Kingdom, Bellator.
Okay. Awesome.
I don't see it happening, but I'd be looking forward to America finally getting their head out their asses and starting to look at other international sports more. I would like to see that. I would also like to see LeBron James win another championship so we can, go further to putting that whole LeBron versus Jordan argument to rest.
Okay.
It's 2 guard versus 3 guard.
Okay. No.
Okay. 2 versus 3.
Magic played all positions. That's not it.
We're not talking about
I am looking forward to legitimately the Fox deal. The Fox Disney deal. I think anyone out there that's a fan of entertainment and a fan of properties are watching this very closely. I am scared. As what we've seen with The Last Jedi and how polarizing it was. I am now uncertain with Disney's direction, their plan.
They don't have one.
No, they had a plan. They got punched in their mouth.
Yeah.
They did.
Right.
But nevertheless, I'm ready to see some slates. I'm ready to see what happens on television, especially with someone like one of the best properties out there on television for me, Atlanta, and seeing the type of deal that the Glover brothers get put into play with now moving forward, because his brother got a deal with FX, which now Disney has. That was part of the deal, was the television entertainment division.
It was.
So I'm very that is that's going to take the most of my brain power moving into 2018 is paying attention to that. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say for our first quarter, you all have been by our side. You have watched our programming. You made our first series, our first limited series, the 12 Days of Christmas list, a success.
Yes.
We absolutely enjoyed it. We do this for you all. We are literally trying to liberate entertainment and give all of this news, pop culture, sports, a perspective that matters to you. Our FCN universe, as you will. Moving into 2018, we promise to give you the same content and even better. We have 11 programs lined up for 2018 alone.
Yep.
Yes.
This first quarter.
For the first quarter.
For the first quarter. So please, everyone out there, make sure that you go to the website, you sign up. We get your email address so we can always give you updates about the content and the different promotions that we have going. Make sure that you share and you like and you subscribe to everything. Leave comments. Leave a positive 5-star review. Everything that you do will make us more successful, because when we can get more money coming in the door, we will be able to make LGBTQ films, documentaries, and programming. We can make Latina female-led series. We can make black female-led series. How about a black female-led series with an Asian love interest who adopted a small Cambodian refugee? We will give you that here at FCN. We are inclusive. The most inclusive company out here creating content. And I just want to say, for 2017, it has been an amazing year for us. We started October 1st. We were working well before that, a year before to create this this juggernaut that you see before you. And ladies and gentlemen, we only have more to come. 2018, 2019, and 2020, God willing, the planet doesn't explode because of Trump pressing a button, or the Arctic just freezes over and we all die. But nevertheless, if not, hey, we'll be here for you. So, anybody want to say anything about 2017 before we head out?
No.
I'm good. I'm cool with 2017. Everybody was anxious to get away from 2016 because of celebrity deaths, and look how 2017 turned out. So don't you wish the only thing that was happening was celebrity deaths?
Yes, naturally.
So let's not be so anxious to get to the next step. Just be where you are. Be happy. The moment. Exactly. And we're going to move on. We're going to be where we are, but we're still moving forward.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, just...
Can we put our hands in? No.
That's not happy.
You got to say Happy New Year's. It is New Year's.
It is Happy New
Year's.
Happy New Year's.
You done ran J. Cole off with your corniness,
What? But
man.
I want to put it.
I know what you
we
want.
can do the jump.
No, we're not doing the jump.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram, FCN_, FCN_1 through 5. On Twitter, wherever you are, you can find us, the Fifth Column Network, on Facebook, YouTube, and our website. Please, we're going to start moving a lot of stuff to our website to give exclusive content there, because we hate other people. And that is the fifthcolumnnetwork.com. Make sure you come subscribe to us, and we're going to take care of you guys like we took care of you this year and every year moving forward. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed and safe end of 2017.
Yes.
Happy New Year. And let's look forward to the beginning of 2018. I am the Revolution. This is Trezene. This is Hulk Tone. That was J-Co. We are signing out officially from 2017, and we will welcome you 2018 Thursday with our first edition of Prime News starring Miss Trezene. Come tune in and Enjoy the news broadcast as usual. I am Ray Volusia. Take care.